What did you do?
What did
we did it.
What did you do?
We made it without looping the instrumental to the intro twice.
Nice.
Good job.
It was a goal of mine.
Good job, team.
Did you guys notice that now Lexi can clap both flippers simultaneously?
Oh!
Hey. What up, monster? Hi, blissful.
Yo, just when you thought. It was months and months and months and months since this kid has had a limb. And finally, look, she can move it. We fixed it. Huh, Melissa?
Yep.
Look at that.
Fixed it.
Did you ever see the picture of Melissa Wolf in her McDonald's regalia?
I have.
Okay. We're gonna have to put that up again. Because when Melissa started the band, she used to wear all black. And she used to wear big parachute trip pants and gothic all black tops.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was gonna say
That's fucking dope.
I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube the other day and I found one of your old channels from like 11 years ago.
That's embarrassing. So what happened?
I was seeing like the.
Did you turn it into the police?
No, I studied that. No, I was watching like the first version of Force You to Lay Down. I was like, oh my god, you guys are such babies.
None of this exists on the internet.
Wait, then how'd you find it?
I have access to the dark web.
Yeah. So yeah. If you go on the dark internet, you can find Melissa Wolf in her oversized trip pants, doing versions of Evanescence. I'll release the videos. No, but we were talking about like long ago when we first started Sepsiss, Melissa's mom used to beg us to do like something different. She used to be like, just do something else.
Just do something else?
So we go to these shows and Melissa she'd be all black and straight Addams Family type of hair. Although she started dyeing her hair blue. Which at the time, I mean, nowadays that doesn't seem risky. But at the hot, in the Hot Topic days, that was fucking edgy, man. And there was Melissa with her blue hair and her black top. I mean, and that's it. You just had black clothes, and then you had she had several different versions of these black pants. And they were these gigantic black trip pants they'd have straps and chrome and spikes and buckles and stuff. And that was
the classic.
That was the Melissa Wolf look. But she still had the tail.
Nice.
She had the Melissa Wolf tail. And there was a time when we were starting to get older. And there was a talk of, are we still going to do the tail? Remember that, Melissa?
You don't know if you're
look,
going to do
look
the
at her.
tail anymore or not?
There was a talk about it.
There was a time?
I mean, I wasn't fond of the idea.
What?
I still have a tail today. So.
See? She wanted to get rid of the tail. Look,
Why?
that was such crazy. Like, nobody's ever seen that before, ever on this network. That's a piece of Melissa that nobody ever would have caught right there.
Why?
There was a time.
Do you remember?
I don't.
Look at how interested they are. Look at how interested everybody is.
That was a while ago.
So, see? So there was a time when there was a debate on whether or not the Melissa Wolf character would go on with or without a tail. And everybody, it was a it was like staff members were on the fence about it. I mean, like, people don't know this. People don't know this, but of course, me and Melissa have been in the band since 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been several versions of it, none of which were professional versions of the band until the demos in 2018. Like at the end of 2018, there was some demo music that came out.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that, Zach, Sepsiss was always just like a local, like every weekend is just something we always did. Like
Mhm.
nobody ever really thought nothing. You know what I mean? We didn't have any access to like technology to record anything, or none of us have been to school for anything like that. And, you know what I mean? We play music and we sing, but we weren't in the record industry, or we didn't know anything about that.
So around 2018 is when you guys were like, this is the time. Let's.
Yeah, you know, we sat down and we were just like, okay, well, if we want to, it was like we need to establish: do we want to show our music to people other than New Hampshire?
Yep.
That was the first thing. Like, are we gonna record music? And if we're gonna record music, are we gonna record music and set a standard? And what does that mean? Like, how loud do we want this music? How clear do we want this music? What do we want this music to sound like? So a lot of the reason why me and Melissa didn't record is because we couldn't. There were a lot of local bands and rappers and folk and blues. Nobody could get the music ferocious enough for us, for a mix.
Mm.
Even to this day. It's just the way. There's some people that don't like our music. Some people that's just not their taste. And sometimes that's based on the mix. When you hear the mix of our music, that's something we're going for.
Yep.
We want that all the time, and we're trying to get better at that. And we're making our music to go along and be cohesive to that mixing style, because that's really what we're hoping to achieve. But we didn't, prior to 2018, we didn't know that was even a possibility. Because all the local bands and even the best regional bands that we know, even your B-listers and they couldn't get the music fat enough. The guitars weren't aggressive enough for me and Melissa. It wasn't loud enough. We'd listen to the music and it just wasn't. Even our rapper friends, like, they couldn't. The music was never loud enough. Listen to a lot of local rock bands. It's just, it's not loud, and it's not, it's just not ferocious enough. And we're in a melodic driven band. So like, if Melissa's singing cleans, how do we make this music ferocious? So we need our music, unlike a death metal band or like a thrash band, because of the sound that me and Melissa we're going for, we needed to have the mix be ferocious enough to really be able to flesh out our vision of having a melodic band, being able to sing melodies over metal that was heavy, and it would still feel heavy even when it was clean. Like, that was the recipe. Like, that was our dream, is to create. Because we kept running into bands that would sing clean and they weren't heavy enough.
Yep.
And we said, well, what if we created a kind of heavy metal where we sang mostly cleans and it was almost heavy? And that's kind of like a dream sonically of what me and Melissa went for. So prior to 2018, we'd had a lot of engineers approach us, and we had a lot of record labels and A&Rs approach us, hearing our terrible bedroom mixes. And of course we had an early version of Blacklight Invasion. There was a music video to it, when we were younger. And like, that's all we had. We had that and some, silly kind of like YouTube stuff. And I think it's just important to understand that prior to 2018, we hadn't worked with any engineers or people in the industry that understood what we were trying to do with our sound. It wasn't until we connected with our producer, and started working with him, and we were able to illustrate and dictate to him what we were really looking for. And through me tracking out demos and being able to illustrate this to him, he was able to, show me, and it kind of like help us make the adjustments to record in a way where you could mix and master our vision. So in order to understand the lifespan of our band professionally is to really understand our approach to recording, because there was really until we recorded music and could play it back and listen to it, there was not much more we could learn about ourselves. I know that was winded, but I hope y'all caught that. You know what I mean? Because music's really a lot more about like listening than it is about making noise. You know. So prior to myself and Melissa wanting to do something professional, we didn't want to do anything professional. We don't know what that is. We don't have a taste for that. We don't have an idea of that. No one's played anything back to us. We had never heard ourselves as a band. Of course, we, up until recently, we've never gotten close to having a lineup that could play our music back for us. We, up until 2018, we never had players in the band that were willing to follow directions and play the music that we wrote. Mm-hmm. So you hear a Blacklight today, but there was there's been 4 versions of that up until the one you hear now. Like just like if you come to a show, people know the Blacklight Invasion is different at a show. Mm-hmm. It's longer,
right?
Eyes of Empathy's longer. Mm-hmm. So, but you'd have to come to a show. Like, so if you're familiar, so if you've heard us online, right? And you're like, oh wow, yeah, I've heard this stuff. I've heard Blacklight Invasion. Okay, you're like, okay, you like that song or whatever, right? And you finally come to see us, and we say, oh, the next song's Blacklight Invasion. The song will start, and you'll go, what the fuck? This isn't Blacklight. But if you come to shows regular, you know that no, it's always like that.
Right.
It's just that live, there's a different experience.
Right, there's a different feeling. If you're just going to play live, you're just going to play everything note for note. What would be the point of coming to see you? You have that that's why you add these extra things. It's like, come on out, you know.
And I like that you said that because we do that now.
Yeah.
We've been educated working with the team, working with the production team. We have a formula and a recipe now when we write music differently now in a way that we set up in gain stage and kind of in pre-production, we're doing all these little things in lieu of it getting to post-production. Mm-hmm. We're recording and we're tracking out in such a way where we know in the end post-production can be maximized. You know what I'm saying? So, and just the same as the stage too, we're writing parts that can be performed.
Right.
We're writing and recording music that can be performed and generated by humans on stage. Mm-hmm. So when we don't need laptops, we don't need AI machines, we don't need smoke and mirrors. We're still writing music. We want to be one of those last bands on stage that's writing performable music that's competitive and comparable. Not the same. Competitive and comparable to what you hear on the record. Mm. You know what I'm saying?
That's a Sepsiss package.
Yo.
Kind of wish
Trip Pants. I want to ask you. What do you think in your mind, and I want you to tell everybody at home, out of the opinion of Melissa Wolf, what do you think in today's record climate, what do you think, independent, professional, what do you think is an acceptable frequency on a general basis for artists releasing music? And I do mean we are now in an age where the EP is dead. It's gone. You're either releasing albums and you're releasing albums in a way that connects with fans. This is just what we've been educated on. This has been like slammed in my mind. There's nowhere to go on this. We've done so much research on this. There's just literally... In today's modern, as far as right now, the EP is dead.
Sorry to burst your bubbles, guys.
So if anybody's planning on an EP, message me after if you're going to blow steam. Are you?
Organica's doing an EP right now. In fact, I was just doing vocal tracks.
How many? Let me help you out. How many songs are on it?
6, but it's a cover. It's a cover EP.
Okay, but that's okay. But 6 songs, you're closer to doing, and that's closer to an album. It's a collection. I'm serious. There's a positive side to this. There's a collection. And that's just because the fans. And what is being recorded by the way the modern fan consumes music. Because people just aren't interested in listening to albums. And the people that are generally super fans.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're going to have a collection, you want to put your all into that collection. So if you're going to have a collection of art, then you want to say, I'm going to put everything I have into this collection. If you're doing singles over time, then you can budget yourself differently. So what this comes down to is how much money you're willing to invest in the project. So that's why it's, and if that's not part of the topic, then it's not as important. You know what I mean? If you don't have a general idea of how many people you want to view your music video, then none of this matters. So for instance, when me and Melissa sit down and we go, okay, we'd like to shoot a music video. Get a piece of paper and we go, it's not a matter of like just shooting a music video. That's the fun part, right? Mm-hmm. It's more so, how much are we willing to invest on what we want it to do? Okay, well maybe we want it to be a video that's about brand awareness. We want people to discover Sepsiss. Okay, then should we hire actors and actresses? No. Of course not. Because we don't ever want to replace screen time with the person you're trying to meet. So if we're trying to introduce Melissa, we're not going to introduce actress Betty in The Baby. We need people, you see what I'm saying? So it's not just we're going to shoot a music video. It's what are we doing with the music video? What's the message? What's the song title? Because this is where we're going to build a conversation with our friends at home. Does that make sense? So it's not so much about what we're doing, but it's why. You know what I mean? Because then we could discover like how much are we willing to put into this. Because if we're gonna hire actors and actresses, well, that's gonna be a pretty pen. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have to take care of them.
Right.
At least get some pizza, right? Some water and shit, whatever. I mean, now I'm being cheap. But like, if you've ever been on a Sepsiss video as an actor, you got paid. You know what I mean? We pay. I don't know how it is in other independent bands, but we pay our staff members. We pay people that we hire. Mm-hmm. I know, like in a lot of bands, it's all built out of favors, and we get our fair share of fucking favors. Believe me, people take care of us. I think we're the most taken care of band ever known to man. We appreciate all of you. We still got friolators we haven't opened yet.
Hell yeah.
But the truth is, if you see a guy shooting for us, you know what I mean. If you see a guy that's in our staff, chances are they're getting paid for it. Mm-hmm. So like you look at music videos like You Already Know by Sepsiss. We have like dancers that are dancing with Melissa. They're really I can't dance like that. Don't think that was me. I hope none of y'all
can't dance like that.
I hope none of y'all thought that was me in the back.
Videos
See that?
Lexi's leg made bank on the Blue Lines video.
We were talking about that earlier.
We were. We were
talking about that earlier. See what I'm saying? The golden Easter eggs of filming.
Yeah.
But, so we go, how much leg are we going to put in this video? We want to know.
Oh, by the way, you got 2 B's so far.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
That might add up to something, everybody. We were talking about how many people have the William Savant wasp tattooed on their skin, on their bodies.
The one that's like right there?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of people, like the one that's on my guitar, that's the William Savant wasp, But I know there's a lot of people that have...
Like this one?
That's the one.
Nice.
That's the one. So, this really comes down to a budget. And if you're going to have a collection of 4 songs, then you might as well have 6. Because the budget. Because you could make 2 more songs and put the same budget in.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If you had 4 songs and then 2 singles later on, you're spreading your budget thin. So you see what I'm saying? So and instead of having an EP and then a single and then an album, you know what I mean? You could have 2 albums. And the budget, by the way that press works and by the way you can get coverage and by the way that the project can get the most attention from the budget if you use it as a collection, as a full album rather than an EP. You could just add 4 more songs, and those 4 more songs are going to benefit from that promotion. Rather than releasing an additional 4 songs later and paying separately.
Guess I never really thought of it that way.
It's
before.
about bread. It's just how much time an artist, because that's going to happen my next question. This is part of my next question. To Melissa. The trip pants. I'm going to bring them out. We're going to wear them.
What is your question?
Listen, the next show, everybody thinks it's a joke. The next show that we have, me and Melissa are going to come out circa 2010 Sepsiss.
Oh my.
Why?
Do I need to go and get trip pants? I don't want to stick out.
That's what I'm saying. We'll do one hot topic.
I can't go back to that.
Why?
And I can remember her mom saying, "Why don't you guys just do some color? Just do something else." All right, what was I talking about?
Trip pants.
No, before that.
You're talking about the budget of music.
Yes.
Right.
And releasing music.
Right.
And how it all comes down to the bread.
Right. And it also comes down to time.
Wait, did you even answer the question of how?
That's why I asked what his question was.
Well,
We're going to get
I
there.
don't know what the
Because
Well,
time is money.
Han says he's gonna drop out of a cannonball.
What?
does he not know how cannons work? He's gonna
You don't
drop
drop.
out.
Yeah, you don't
That'd
drop.
be
You don't drop.
the cannon wouldn't be working if he just.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of cannons you're working with. We
It's-
blast off the cannon. We
Right.
don't,
You shoot out of a cannon.
Yeah. I don't know what kind
You
of...
drop from a plane.
You must not really have a lot of, experience with cannons. All right, so you're getting a project together, right? And you have the year or so to release music, right? You have the year, or you have an amount of time on your calendar where you're going to plan to release music. And in this amount of time, you need to know during that time, what do you expect? What do you want the music video? What do you want the EP? What do you hope to accomplish with the single? That's why all of this matters. Because once you know what you're going to do, then you can figure out not what, but why. Mm-hmm. And when you figure out why, you want to go how long. And that's how you know how much. And that's why you need to know whether you're doing a collection of music or you're dropping it singularly. Because of the amount of time. Because the question I'm about to ask you now, based on the modern day climate of the changing and evolving music industry almost over fucking night, what now is the frequency? Because every band has different needs. Sorry, there's something in my eye. It's fucking weird. Like sand or something, though.
What is the frequency?
What is the frequency of music that the common artist or common independent artist, I don't even care, independent, A-lister, fuck it, across the board, if they're releasing singles, when should they be releasing singles? Every 3 months? Every 6 months? Should you do an EP every year? Like, to me, and I'll show you, if you planned on 4 EPs a year, well, fucking A. But if you planned on 1 EP a year, you should just do an album. You see what I mean? Because you could add 4 more songs, mm-hmm. expand the catalog for the same amount of bread, and cover the collection. If you only plan on releasing 1 collection a year, now if you plan on releasing 2 collections a year, chances are you can add to the catalog and present the same collection without moving the budget.
Here's the problem I have with that thought, though.
Sure.
Say you have 4 really solid songs, you know, like
Yep.
the band put their heart and soul into them, or the writer of the band put their heart and soul into them. They have
Right.
these really 4 good songs. Why
Yes.
would you, or 6 songs,
Yes.
and you need typically, you know, between 8 and 12 for an album. What if you don't have the 2 other, you know, you have 2 that were like, oh, those we'll put on the back burner, they're okay. What if you didn't want, what if you know, like, these 4 songs represent our music and this is the message we want to send out, and then you know what if you just crapped out those other 2 songs just for the sake of saying, oh, we have an album out now?
Well, I can tell you if you had a distributor or a label, you know, I could tell you what they'd say. You know what I mean? But I think that comes down to really what I said before, you know, is that in the long run, every band's got to be able to read the map. Every band has got to be able to read their map, because that's what makes you a band.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know what I mean? Like, that's what makes somebody awesome, is somebody going, hey, man, fuck Spotify, I'm going to do straight vinyl. And then people are like, wow, that's really stupid. And it's the next awesome thing.
Right.
So, like, that's why I'm asking the question, is to encourage conversation, because we're in an evolving market. This isn't something that we can recognize. The music market, for people that are sitting around this table, and this should be humbling for a lot of folks, for people sitting around this table, including myself, somebody that studies it all day, we can't even scratch the surface. And Lexi knows exactly what I'm talking about. We are such in the minor leagues. Like, Sepsiss is in such the minor leagues of the singularity, you know, all the different parts that make up the whole of the evolving state of the music industry. And that's because of quantum computing. And that's because of AI. I mean, we're going through a fucking renaissance, man. Almost like we did with Napster and streaming itself. That's why I'm having this conversation. The very nature of this conversation is because the music industry is evolving overnight at such an accelerated rate that I come here every Wednesday and I can't get away from one topic. It's not going to go away.
And there's constantly new ones.
This is fucking insane.
It's so complex.
It's so complex. It's ear splitting, mind blowing. The music industry is not a recognizable place for people like you and I are at home watching this. All the fucking enthusiasts and experts, including myself, sitting around this table and watching this live feed, feeling that lump in their chest where they want to say, I know. No. This is about developers, quantum computing. This is about banking. This is fucking insanity. This isn't about music industries. This is about controlling ideas. This is about, you know, this is about world fucking domination, man. This is about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology and identities and fucking authenticity on the internet. This is fucking scary shit. This is like Napster times fucking 7 billion. I mean, this is mind-splitting fucking shit. So when I'm just having these conversations because you might need to be a quantum physicist to make music in the future.
Whoa.
Yeah, yo.
Whoa.
We haven't even gotten to talk about yet on this program how we plan on listening to music in the near future.
Whoa.
In the future, music will be omnipresent.
It'll just be beamed right into your head.
It'll be part of your mood. It'll be the soundtrack to your fucking life. And people don't have nothing to worry about. There's no competition between robots and humans, not for a long time for this. Because for quite some time, human music will be actually valuable because it's human music, and vice versa. So, just the same way that Pixar is awesome and CGI is really cool, but it never got rid of actors.
Right.
Remixes never got rid of original music.
Right.
They never did. So I mean, there's
if anything, it kind of promoted the original
animation.
Music.
Right. Animation never got rid of film. Mm-hmm. You dig what I'm saying?
It created a higher
right.
demand for it.
Yeah. So there's still a big market for radio. There's still a big market. Like cassettes never got rid of vinyl. That's a That's a myth. Yeah. You know. Okay. Fuel didn't get rid of coal.
Right.
We're still doing coal. Recycling never got rid of plastic.
Right.
We're still making plastic.
We still have hydro plants even though we have electricity.
You got it. It's just more shit.
Right. Diversity. Options.
Yeah. So she stepped out for a second, but so what do you guys think? Should the average band, independent, A-lister, celebrity, should we be releasing singles? And when? You know, and then I'll get to the Sepsiss question, but I'm Metallica. Should I be releasing singles? Because look, Pantera, they don't have 15 records and 1,000 songs in the catalog. They don't release albums every 6 months.
No.
Disturbed doesn't really release a single every 3 months. Who does that? Independent bands.
Right.
That's an independent behavior. And that's because, and why is that? And we can get down to the psychology of that. But the reason why I'm asking, and I don't want it to formulate your answers, but it comes down to when should Sepsiss release music? And I wish I didn't tell you that, because now you're going to be whacked out of your mind. It's like earlier when I asked somebody about, another band, and they were like, oh, they should be showing the other band members in the video, and I said, well, put yourself in the shoes of Sepsiss. Do you want to see me jumping around in the dark or Melissa? They kicked me right out the room. I respect it. I dig the honesty. Mm-hmm. But when I said, yo, you're the manager of Sepsiss and you're filming a music video, do you want to film me and Zach playing fake guitar in the dark? Or do you want to watch sexy Melissa singing fake lyrics? And it's a music video. And they said, I'd much rather watch Melissa pretending to sing lyrics in a video. It's a music video. Everybody knows that we're not really playing the shit. It's a music video. I hope people know that. Surprise.
Has Sepsiss particularly...
No.
Okay.
No. No, I wanted to know, and like generally. Not Sepsiss yet. Don't do that to me. I knew you guys were going to do me like that. I knew it.
See, I'm not changing my answer, though.
Fuck. Well, that's good. But I'm just thinking about that. Now everyone's playing on that.
Think of it how everybody should do it.
I know. I'm just give me. I know. So if you were a music marketer mogul, okay, that sounds weird. Music marketing mogul. If you was a music marketing mogul, right? Say that a bunch of times. No. and you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to, you wouldn't want to after. So if you were and you had to give advice, you know what? You don't even have to be a mogul. You're Melissa Wolf. Give me some advice. I'm feels weird saying that I'm young to you, but pretend that I'm a young person and I'm looking for advice. And I say, hey man, I'm coming out. I've got a collection of songs. Can I do an EP? Should I do a single? I'm an independent, should I do my record deal tells me I should eat carrots so I can see better.
I mean, do they plan on also producing a music video with that?
My fucking God! This kid, you must work for Sepsiss. No, but see, but no, going back to the EP thing and the single thing, she just hit it again. She did it again. The Melissa Wolf going right for the business. She didn't even go for it. You didn't even go for the treat. You didn't go for the little snack, the little cookie. You went right for the work. See, Melissa has that mentality though, where she goes, hold on, let me separate this. You weren't following your dreams right there. That's not what that was. That was you being a businesswoman. Now, what separates you thinking like that from other independent artists?
I've been doing this for a while. That must have something to do with it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Okay, so what do you think? So I got a collection of tracks. It's 2023. How should I be releasing my music? I'm not Sepsiss. I'm not Metallica. I'm not Necrogoblicon. Who am I?
I mean, if they were planning on doing a music video with it too, maybe every 3 to 6 months, maybe.
Well, see, here's the thing. If I do an EP, right, and I go, well, how many music videos am I going to do for the EP? The budget's going up. See, that's what I was trying to explain to Zach earlier about that, okay? If you're doing the album, if you're doing a big album, right, it's the budget, you know, and you just said it right then. Okay, we want to promote this whole EP for 6 months, all right? How much we want to spend on it? $20,000. I know everybody in here is like, what the fuck? Yeah, $20,000.
On an EP?
Why not? You believe in it? You just gave me the scenario that these were the best songs you've ever had.
Yeah,
You're not willing to put 20 grand on the best songs you've ever had?
Yeah,
this is the problem with independent bands.
Well,
if I had the 4 songs,
grand,
I'm telling you, if I had the 4 songs that I thought that were the best songs that Sepsiss has ever written right now, I'd put $50,000 behind it. And never look back. I would just build a strategy, though.
What would the strategy be?
Right, you see what I'm saying?
Because you got to have that revenue come back.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That's what I'm saying. And that's what Melissa, when Melissa was going into it, she was like, well, hold on a second. How many music videos are we going to shoot?
Right.
How much do you have for advertising?
Is there also a tour happening?
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, depends on how much your budget spends.
Depends on the budget.
Yeah, you're going to, right,
that's
you're
the question.
You're going to tour New England.
It'll all go back to the budget.
See, and that's why I said that, Lex. You see what I'm saying? So that's why that's why let's go back. Let's reverse engineer it.
Because the amount of money it would take.
Right, let's reverse engineer it. You know, what are we doing with this album, right? What are we doing with the single? Are we going to drop the single? We're going to focus on audio. Okay, cool. It's not going to cost, you know, we don't have to drive that around, you know what I mean? Are we gonna do our campaign and focus on the internet and doing reaction videos or having TikTok people do dances? Are we
How much do we want to
a physical tour?
Yeah.
Right, a physical tour, press kits,
a physical CD.
Boom. That's it. Right. Right.
Are we gonna have merch to go along with it?
Right. What type of EP or album? Right. If we're gonna do an EP and we're gonna put it on Spotify, well, who gives a fuck?
Right. You could just crank out music however fast you could record it.
And that's the reason why we're talking about
Therein
this.
lies the
crystalline structure. And that's why Pantera doesn't have 15 albums. That's why professional artists don't come out with singles every week. Because they know to put their bread. Doesn't matter if it's a single, doesn't matter if it's an album. They know how to put that budget in sweet cherry pie. And they don't stop. You feel what I'm saying, though? But that should show a lot of independent artists what we're talking about. It's like, even if you're releasing more music, you need to be focused on blacklight. You know what I mean? When you think of, like, the other day I saw a reaction video. It wasn't an old reaction video. It was brand new. From a brand new reaction host, you know? And it was the first time they ever discovered Nonpoint, bro. And they were listening to Bullet with a Name. And they were flipping the fuck out like it had just been released. He was like, he was hanging on the microphone. He was like, where have I been my whole life? The dude was going fucking bananas. And it showed me once again. And, Nonpoint's been putting out a lot of newer stuff.
I saw that.
But they're smart. They still got their original stuff rocking and being pushed out and being discovered. They didn't just abandon it. They're using it as a part. They're connecting it. You know what I'm saying? They're taking that discography and they're doubling down on their content. They're doubling down on their hard work. They're making it work for them. And I love that. So now we can get to the sepsis question. Because we've been trying to think if we're going to release an album, because we are releasing a collection.
Yeah.
And that collection I traditionally would call an album. And the album is called Take the World by Swarm. However, modern day musicians release albums on Spotify. Me and Melissa are not going to do that. Take the World by Storm is not going to be available the same way that all the other artists release music. That's all I can tell you. There will be some of this album that will be on Spotify and iTunes, but the album itself will not be available through corporate greed.
Hell yeah.
Our next album will not be available. If you want the next Sepsiss album, you can just call me on the phone. Instead of going through record labels and fucking Jumpman and jumping through hoops, and the last time we released an album with a record label, like, I was getting complaints from radio stations, bloggers, people that wanted to get in touch with us, people that wanted to talk about the album, people that wanted to play the album. It was nothing but a fight. Nothing but a fight. Nothing but a fight. And all these people wanted to play our music, and I had to send emails and call the record label and call the A&R and beg them and try to get them to reason with me and try to get them on the phone with people. I'd have deals, sponsorships set up for the band. I'd have tours, all type of stuff that I needed the record label to get involved in. And our record label never, ever, ever jumped. They never responded to it. Never wanted to get behind it. There was never any type of work or activity to. So I'm telling you from experience, the idea of building art and giving it to the internet for this band is over with. So
would you still sell it on your website though?
So that's kind of why I'm asking this. I'm the reason why this is good information for myself and Melissa is because, unlike a lot of people on the internet, we don't know. Unlike everybody else that you know, unlike your friends and all your neighbors, we don't fucking know everything. Unlike the know-it-all neighbor and nosy fucking Nancy and everybody that you talk to on the phone and all your idols, my fault, homie, all the idols and people that you look up to.
You shot me.
Sorry about that, brother. All the people at home that, I mean, no one's going to listen to me, If I show everybody, if I bring up an article and there's text on it and the images look good and I point it at somebody, okay, and it mirrors what I'm saying, people are more apt to listen to me, bro. But when they have to look at me and look at my skin color and my hair and my voice and my band or my eyes or my teeth or whatever they're seeing, whatever they're hearing, whatever they're smelling off of me, you know what I mean? When I try to give them the same information, they don't want it from me. They want it from the celebrity. They want it from Corey Taylor. They want it from someone else, not me. If they see it in a newspaper, if I say, most people on Spotify have under, 50 monthly listeners. People say, oh, Will, that's disappointing. I don't want to hear that from you. But if I show them some complete stranger who's a music mogul on YouTube and he's got 1 million subscribers, people are more apt to listen to him. Grown adults and friends of mine in music won't listen to me because it's me. Well, but if it's somebody else, if it's your mother, you'd listen to her. But it's fucking me, so you don't want to hear it.
You could just get an AI thing and program whatever celebrity you want to say it and then send it to...
If I told people that that's what I could do, they'd be mad at me.
It's true. I could do it right now.
Don't say that too loudly, because they don't want to hear that people can do that.
It's not like an opinion. That's a fact. Like this.
People, and I'm telling you, if you're telling people that, they're not going to want to hear it.
People
but
don't want to hear the truth.
If Walter fucking Cronkite says it, or somebody they like tells them that, if somebody that they can accept, delivers that information, because that's how people want their music now. If you suggest your music to somebody, they're going to debate about it.
Or they'll just be like, yeah, that's okay, nice. Cool.
Right, if Spotify suggests it, or Little Baby, or Little T, or Tommy the T, or whoever it is, DJ Goofball, if he says it's because that's the thing.
Yeah. Well, the internet told me it'd be okay. So.
Right. That's what I mean. So we're not gonna do this album and run out to the internet, because to me, I feel like anything plus the internet sucks. like sex. Like, it was good before the internet. You know what I'm saying? Now people download apps and ask permission to go meet girls and boys. Back in my time, you just met girls and boys. So, dating, where you talk to people,
Yep.
and then add in the internet. Okay? Religion was a bad argument before. Add in the internet. Politics are a product that everybody buys that doesn't work. Think about that, like a baby seat. Think if baby seats didn't work. Think if you bought a baby seat, you put it in your car, you put the baby in, and it exploded, and the baby exploded all over the place. You'd be, oh my God, this baby seat doesn't work. You'd get rid of it immediately. Think if baby seats caused wars. Think if baby seats caused race issues. Think you'd get rid of baby seats. It's a product you'd be sure to get rid of. But we won't get rid of politics. Every 4 years, we're buying more of it. Cha-ching, more advertisements and more strangers that we've never met before. We'll fucking kill each other for people we've never even met before. Complete strangers that wouldn't bother to help you pay your light bill. You feel me, though? We care way more about products, and we care way more. You know the superstars? The superstars are the products, the gadgets. They're more popular than the artists that they promise to present. And consumers, as long as it's luxurious, as long as it's comfortable, as long as you can have all, they'll stampede and sacrifice every artist on their playlist, even though they listen to under 50 of them a month. Average Spotify subscribers listen to under 50 artists a month.
Yeah.
But the marketing catch, the big bonus for being a part of this, for buying in, for opting in to places like Spotify or Netflix, is that you can have all.
See, that's the thing, though.
Nobody watches all.
Life is about people. What people want most in life is comfort and convenience. So, you know, when you offer them this device where it's like you can watch anything you want right here from the comfort of your own home, rather than you got to go down to the movie theater. People are, oh shit, $10.99 a month, cool. You can listen to any song you want. Well, I won't have to buy each individual song, just one monthly cost, $10.99 a month.
No, it's selling an idea.
Right.
It's selling an idea that it's too much work to go down the street and meet people.
Or instead, I mean, even take, I think the peak of music buying comes at the iTunes part where it's like, oh, I can buy each song I want individually and the artist gets their share. You know, that's...
I remember that.
Yeah.
Ringtones.
Right. Or if you buy the song, you can make any part of it your ringtone. That was the big sell for
a little while.
Yep. You buy the track, you put it through,
and you know what? There's something with all of this too that before any of it lingers around long enough for any of us to measure it, it's gone.
Right.
So like just as soon as you can learn about like vinyl and everything, it was gone.
Yep.
Just as soon as you can wrap your head around like cassettes and like warehousing and shipping and receiving, it's all gone. And then, then we learned about streaming and there's all types of arguments about it. And then somehow in the midst of it, we all agreed that all of a sudden it's just okay to just steal it. At some, you know what I mean? Like it was so easy and so convenient to have the internet around. It's like, man, fuck paying for anything.
Right.
Remember that? We all did it. Just nobody paid for music or movies. It was just that period when nobody paid for it. That wasn't cool either.
Right.
Come on, like everybody's fronting like you weren't doing it. I did it, like Pirate Bay and LimeWire. Yep. I'm guilty of doing it. I know everybody pretending like they didn't do it now. Yeah, I had all that shit. Yep. I remember I never paid for music. I was a big fucking vigilante, and I went shooting my mouth off about it because I wasn't the type of artist that was expecting to get paid.
Well, you know what's funny? I had all that shit too as a kid, but once I
didn't feel bad for nobody, is what I'm saying.
Right. But I remember once I got my own, like when I turned 18, I got my own debit card and everything. I was buying music all the time.
God bless you. Until I started learning about artist exploitation, until I started learning. Well, really, man, I think Sepsiss being in the band really helped me learn more about how music is bought and sold, because up until that point, as I said before, we had never planned on doing anything professional with our music, so I never really had the survival instinct to go learn about accounting.
Right.
Like when I was learning guitar, no one told me that someday I would have to be filming my own music videos and doing accounting.
Right.
I never thought somebody like me, would have a record deal or something.
Learning tax codes.
I never, if you'd have asked me, 10 or 15 years ago, if I thought I would have won the New England Music Awards, I would have laughed at you. I was homeless 15 years ago. You know what I mean? So that, none of that was really a reality for me. So, anyways, when do you think Sepsiss should release music? Into what frequency? You already know we're not going to do an EP because you know how we believe in it. So, because if we were going to do a collection, we wouldn't do an EP because we would do an album. And we would do an album because we'd want to put the most amount of money into a single project. Rather than fragment that. So, like, what do you think? Do you think so? For a lot of independent bands, I'll tell you what they've done. A lot of independent bands release singles within 3 to 6 months. I think it's too much for our band.
See, I think around the time of like the 70s and 80s, they had it right. A band released an album probably once a year, but usually 6 months before that they would release a couple of singles from it. Usually like...
My favorite bands didn't release an album every year, though. Like one of my
I'm thinking like Metallica, GNR, like a lot of the 80s bands, a lot of them, it was like every year. Or like once a year.
Okay, and then maybe in the 80s...
Because then you did a big tour. Usually, you spent a little bit of time recording the album.
Yep.
And then you're gearing up for tour while they're doing the post-production stuff.
Yeah.
And then they start releasing the marketing and do the PR campaigns.
Yeah.
And then by the summertime,
and
you'd be on tour promoting it.
Well, going back to Melissa's formula, at that time, artists got advancements and stuff like that. So, like, if we could all take the time off this year and our record label was going to give us $150,000, I go buy a bag of weed. We'd knock this shit out. You know what I mean? We're talking a different time. So, and that's not like
that's the problem. Yeah, you're talking back then. 2023 is a whole different world.
Right. So, like in today's climate, I mean, as opposed to like even releasing music when MySpace was around, is a lot different. So that's what I mean, guys. In today's climate, in as far as like, because we're not releasing music in the 80s, we're not releasing music during LimeWire. We're releasing music right now. The birth of AI. What's the move, everybody? See, now you're getting to the nucleus of my conversation. This is why this is so meaty. Because once you really unpack this, once you really see, that's why it's taken this long to even get it started.
Right.
Because look at to where I've gotten it. To even ask you the question, to take me seriously, to look at this conversation formally and be like, okay, let me look at, because I asked you as a point of view, generally speaking. Okay, and it was hard for you to answer that, like, responsibly. Let me pretend I'm the music mogul manager, and I'm the A&R and manager for fucking Liliac. Okay, how many fucking, you know what I'm saying? Well, that's what I'm saying. Let me pick somebody. No, for real. I'm the manager for Magdalene. All right, Magdalene. I want you to release, an album a year. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to them, because for an independent artist, that's oversaturation. See, if you're GNR, you can drop a record. Jonathan Davis by himself might be able to drop a record every year, but me and Melissa can't do that. We're not. That's asking too much from the ears out of the limited listeners that we have. Corey Taylor drops a new album when he takes a shit. That's because That's
He has
because
the budget.
That's because he has the
Right.
budget. He's got a heavy metal publication. He can drop tracks like he drops a fart. So you know what I'm saying? So a guy like that, you know what I'm saying? Say, hey, cool, hey, can Sepsiss afford to drop a new single, every month? No, because people fucking hate it. And not to mention, we'll release our best shit and it'll get lost in the sauce because we don't have the budget, and we don't have the budget to have a catalog that's 1,000 songs deep. If you're a band our size, right, and you've got 1,000 amazing songs, you're talking about these are the best 4 songs I've ever had in my life. No, I've got 1,000 amazing songs. I'm releasing them all on Spotify. I'm going to dominate everything, right? Because some of these bands, especially the ones I know, they're fucking good. These guys are better than me. These guys are way better than me. All they do is play guitar with their fucking ears. Right? Now all they do is they play guitar and they release music all day. I know them. They're friends of mine. They've got 15 records and they're in an independent band. And no one's heard of record 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got two songs that we all love. We're still all listening to the first 2 songs. Some of my friends have 20 records out. My rap friends got 10 records out. I'm like, dude, why don't you push one fucking single? Get behind one. I'll quit smoking weed. Let's get behind one. We can eat ramen noodles. No, but when you look at it like that.
I see what you're trying to say.
Yes. When I'm saying this,
the market is oversaturated.
Yes. And everyone thinks they can drop records like Corey Taylor. You're getting my point. So in terms of bands like us, it starts to get tricky. That's why I'm asking you guys, because we're at the turn of a fucking century. This is huge. This isn't for entertainment. I'm asking you guys for real. I'm actually formally asking you guys. Listen, and I'm saying this because this is something nobody can catch up with. Years ago, we all used to sit around and we used to watch the industry change overnight. Snail mail, email. We don't work like that anymore. And with the birth of AI, we can fact check your fucking face in a heartbeat. We can determine, we can identify retina scans and fucking urinalysis. I'm telling you, we'll zap you out of the fucking Starlink atmosphere.
Wow.
I'm saying the way people get paid with music, who owns digital assets, what copyrights mean, your identity, what your mother named you, it's all on the line now. Not just artists, fucking people at home. All of us. We're all in it now. Mm-hmm. It's a huge, massive fight for identity, a massive fight for information, a massive fight for news, ownership, authenticity. If you don't got a noodle do, if you ain't got a Google knowledge graph, you better be on it like a bonnet. If you weren't doing the shit that me and Melissa have already been doing, you're crazy. You better get on it. And I'm telling you, the information moves at such an accelerated rate, we can't talk about the music industry unless you're fucking in it.
Every day.
You gotta be, this shit is a fucking law. In order to understand the music industry, you gotta understand web development, ROI. You gotta understand API, manufacturing, shipping and receiving. This is a brand new. If you're not willing to do these things, fucking quit.
Distribution.
Fucking quit. You've got to quit now, or be like us and make music for fun. But that's it. This is it, everybody. This is the birth of something brand new. And just like when MP3s came in and people were like, what the fuck is that? I don't want to touch it. Just think of how crazy it was years ago to say that there's going to be a camera on every street corner. People would have argued with me Before 9/11, people would have argued with me until they were blue in the face. Well, I can remember a day not too long ago when we all swore that we would never, I'm not going to own a cell phone. I'll never have this in my house. I'll never be on social media. And some of you are right now in the comment section. Some of you people right now are on social media for the first time in your lives going, damn, that was me. I'll never have a Google. I'll never do that. I'll never. What else are you not going to do? If I'd have told you 20 years ago that there'll be a social play space where adults and kids can spend time together and be whatever they want, you would have fucking argued with me to the longest extent of the law. If I ever told you that there'd be virtual worlds where 40-year-old men could pretend to be, babies and walruses and shit, you would have fucking absolutely argued with me to the longest arm of the law. If I told you that adults are going to go hang out in the library with kids and read the same books, you would have been very skeptical about the activities that were happening there. Keep it a bean. Keep it a fucking bean.
Yeah.
Keep it a bean. Human brain doesn't stop developing until, well into the late 20s. I don't see them lowering the ages on driver's licenses. I don't see them lowering the ages on weapons. They're not lowering the ages on drinking. So why are they lowering the ages on that? Huh? Kids ain't allowed in the bar with us, strip club. Why are they allowed here then? Gotcha.
Mic drop.
Gotcha. Y'all parents, y'all adults, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's like supervisors at the vending machine. Who's at the end of the vending machine's plugged into the wall? Who's standing there? The adult or the kid? Somebody's got to pull the plug, dude. So this is the turn. This is the time when online they have realized that everyone will sell out for the cheapest bidder. That being yourself online is up for grabs. That people are now willing to pay to be themselves online. That people now is the time. And once they've figured that out, that you will all pay to be who you are. And in many forms, you've already done that with your Netflix accounts, with your, you know what I'm saying, with your Twitter X, with your Twitter Blues, and everything else. And I argue with people online not to do this, and I kind of feel guilty for it to some degree, because some of our accounts have blue badges on it, like we have the blue badge. But I feel that some of these companies. First of all, if you're a business page or you are like an artist, or you can't buy a badge. So like if you're a business, you can't buy a badge. If you're Jacob's Paint Company or you're trading tombstones, you can't. Your band page can't buy a badge. Only a user online can buy a badge. This is sick. So part of me feels guilty because we've never bought these badges,
Mm-hmm.
But like Melissa's page has a blue badge on it. So when consumers see Melissa, they go, I want to be like her, Mm-hmm. And then they use their personal accounts to buy these badges. Melissa doesn't have to pay to be herself. The Facebook awarded her. They give that to people who are themselves.
Mm-hmm.
She's not paying for a service. You know what I mean? They fact check that and they do whatever they do on that. So when you look on Google and you see that there's a blue badge, next to Sepsiss on Google, that's something that Google does. We don't get to say, hey, give us that. Give me that. That's not something that we do. Just like this, like people that are on Spotify, bands are on Spotify. You guys have a blue, like Arcantica has a blue check on it.
Do we?
Yes, you do. I've seen y'all account. I still call you y'all because I feel like it's still y'all family. You know what I mean?
It is, but I'm in Sepsiss now.
No, I realize that. It's just my way to be polite.
I do love those guys still. And I am still technically recording. Oh, yeah, you're right, we do.
See? Can I show them at home what I mean? Did it mess up?
My internet's spotty.
So, yeah. So if you just look there, there's those bands there. Spotify does that. Like, those bands can't say, "Oh, I don't want that."
Yeah,
like, that's not. You don't ask for that. That's
yeah,
part
I think
of,
they just do that now.
right. That's part of being. No, but you'll notice not all artists on Spotify have that.
No.
Did you notice that?
Only the top results seem to have
There's a reason why that is. It's because there's an amount of qualifications, there's an amount of ledgers, okay? There's an amount of ledgers that you have gone through. There's certain steps and verification steps and ledgers that had to be signed. A tax form, whatever, copyrights, royalty rights. I don't know what you guys have going on over there, but what I'm saying is, in order for that to be distributed that way and verified that way, you see what I'm saying?
They have like 4 to 5 different ARC accounts that have blue checks, though. All different.
That's okay.
Well, how do you know which one? How do you know which ARC is the real ARC?
Well, I mean,
They'll have to know the logo or the picture that your band used.
yeah, like okay, for instance, like on social, like that's like saying like on social media doesn't honor trademarks and copyrights. If the internet doesn't, when people say, well, that's copyrighted, that doesn't fucking, people don't look at pieces of paper.
Plus, copyright laws vary country to country.
State to state.
Really? I thought that was all federally.
100%. Like, let's say you have a business called, you could come, for instance, if you have a business named Sepsiss in the state of New Hampshire, you can have a business named Sepsiss in New Jersey.
Really?
100%. It just has to represent something different.
Different location.
It just has to represent something different.
It's all different.
I was going to say, because if you try to have another band registered as a business with the same name, pretty sure the original copyright holder, even from a different state, would still be able to argue.
You could,
that
but what you're talking about is the right to argue about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, true, because then you'd have to go through a whole legal
process. That's what it is.
Of...
I need to explain this to you because I did years in prison. You got to understand that this is just a copyright, just like a driver's license. When you get pulled over, your driver's license is a document that allows you to argue about it. That driver's license doesn't make you a better fucking driver than me.
No.
You see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you own the car more or you own the right to drive. It just means that you're accountable when you get pulled over. It's a product key.
Or it's just a way for the government to keep track
think of it like think of it like this. It's like me having a business, like in the state of New Hampshire. The band is a business. That is giving me the accountability and the right to be legally and fiscally responsible to argue about it.
Well, you would think it would be more like a car registration that has your proof of ownership.
Some people view it like that. But the problem with that is it's for a term.
That's true. You got to renew your registration.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's a subscription. I'm trying to show you something. It's Spotify.
It's an annual subscription.
It's just a subscription fee. It's just another product, brother.
Oh.
Yes, it's just another ledger. It used to be copyrights. It used to be pieces of paper. Now
trademarks
it's here.
And patents.
Now it's blue checks and whatever else. First it's CDs, then it's MP3s, and now it's something else. It's just things becoming things.
revolution.
I promise you that's what it is. And the only reason why I know about it is because I read about it constantly, every single day. Because you have to, because that's how fast it moves.
Right.
So back in the day, we mentioned like the 80s.
Yeah.
Yes, people used to look at their watches and used to be like, okay, in 9 months the release and then the tour, because products had to be mailed, trucks had to drive, things had
physical pressing of
right.
You know,
independent artists don't have 14 Mack trucks and they don't need packages places and that, so they don't get advances, bro. You see what I'm saying? And everybody knows what happens to the big advances from all the record labels. Everybody knows what happened, you know, with all the advance money. They had to pay it back fucking tenfold. And then some.
It's actually really like taking out a loan.
That's all it is.
The record label giving you, well, not giving, but loaning you money.
After our second royalty payment with our record label, I got on the phone. I said, yo, where's the fuck? I got the email. I'll show you after. I said, where is quarter A, B, C? And because I keep track of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I said, where is A, B, and C representative of you know, quarter 2 and 3? And the response was literally, you owe. I said, I owe something. I'm selling records. I'm literally selling them.
Yeah, but until you pay us back, we're keeping everything.
Period.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Guys, that's literally how it went. And they bank on artists like me not wanting to litigate. Because you're never arguing over a substantial amount of royalties that would constitute, you know, driving to Chicago and litigating a case
right
with an entertainment lawyer.
Well, also too, a big record label like that, they have a team of attorneys just waiting.
Just right. So it's like, and the cost in the time that they would put in continuances on your, you know, the time that they would continue your case, your contract would be up.
Right.
You know.
And then again, because they have this big giant legal team, they're gonna bill you back for every second that their legal team spent fighting you.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, and the bread was so fucked up that they said that our fans had bought a record amount of physical CDs and didn't want them anymore. So it's just a nice way to blame it on our fans and say basically our fans bought hundreds of CDs and changed their minds. But that in today's world, people don't return.
No.
But it'd be like saying that hundreds and hundreds of people bought a CD and then returned it, basically. It's a nice way of just writing it off, just crossing it out as saying, damn, oh, these were damaged, these are returned, these are... There's no supervisor to say that didn't happen.
Right.
And that's where AI comes in. And that's where the revolution of musicians getting paid come in. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. We don't really know that the bands that you think are good, Sepsiss is included, you don't know that they're good. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because you've never heard the others. So because the entire system is meant for you not to hear Sepsiss. I walk down the street right now. This city is not a huge city. Walk down the street right now, and if I ask anybody who's stitched up heart, or infected rain, if you guys don't know, these are artists that, in my opinion, are bigger than we are, and I mean, get played more, have bigger festivals, stuff like that, but similar in the sense that they're like they pair up those bands on our Spotify sometimes, stuff like that. So that's why I'm drawing those names. But, if I walk downtown right now and ask people if they ever heard of them bands, they never heard of them bands. And we'll find, every now and then we'll find fans of Sepsiss that'll have heard of those bands, but routinely, no.
Shit. Until I knew you guys, I didn't know of those bands.
You didn't? You heard what I'm saying, though, Melissa? He's never heard. This guy's he's been in a rock and roll band his whole fucking life. He's never heard of Stitched Up Heart. That should say a lot about Sepsiss or the next band. If you're in the next band, that should say everything. Guys like me and Zach don't even know who you are. Somebody said that to me the other day. They're like, "Did you hear of some band in New Hampshire?" And I was like, "No, I'm sorry, I didn't." And I was like kind of shocked because I usually. And they were like, "You haven't heard of fucking?" It's like, no, I do my best to hear. I actually really, I'm out there trying to I'm looking for free Saturdays for me to go waste the gas money to see bands because I'm an old fart and I like that shit. But people don't have to feel like me. I'm not dying for other people to want to go to live entertainment. I like live entertainment without people liking live entertainment. I don't need people to like things for me to like shit.
Right.
I like stuff on my own. So I try to get out there to support the bands because I feel like being supportive. I feel like I'm that kind of person. That's how I see myself. You know what I mean? I see myself in the future being a generous and supportive person. So that's why I try to do things that are consistent with that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I know what it's like to play in front of, Jeff. So sometimes when people look up and they're like, "Oh, there's Jeff," and "Oh shit, there's Will," like that feels good. Mm-hmm. It's like when we saw Alex from Trading Tombstones at the show that one time. I was like, "Oh my God, there's Alex. That's nice. Look at that." It gives you a little boost of confidence. You know what I mean? When you're up there, you see a familiar face. You might not know anybody there, but you see those two people you're kind of familiar with.
Like, yes, you feel comfortable. You start feeling at home. Yeah. You're ready to let yourself go a little bit before you're a little anxious. Now you're like, oh,
yes. Lexi's going to be screaming at the next two shows. What? Yeah. I'm excited about that.
It's going to be fun.
Are you scared?
No.
All right.
I'm with Melissa. I'm not really scared.
Yo, Melissa's easy to get on stage with.
I just like being next to her, like me and her next
like some people, not everybody, not like getting on stage with people is not always easy for everybody. Like not everybody you can be paired up is always like the best. Like some people freak me out on stage.
Am I one of them?
No, man. Bro? I was in the hip hop community.
I wasn't.
Well, and let me tell you something. When you're in the hip hop community, it's different because not everybody, at least in the rock community, people are trained for the space because you're worried about jabbing somebody with a bass but the rap guys kind of just fling around a lot and no one really has any plan. It's kind of like everyone goes up there. No one's wireless either. There's wires all over the fucking place. Not every show, but when we were kids, it was crazy. I'm sure it's a little bit different now.
I was gonna say before I had wireless, the first couple shows I did.
This is during my time. I was a rapper. It was rowdy.
Yeah.
We didn't there wasn't very many songs about getting low. We didn't get low like that. You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of that going on.
What?
Yeah, a lot of it. Not not the type of rap music I grew up on. No, rap music I grew up on was hardcore, violent.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. That's true.
Rap music wasn't like that now.
Right.
To be real with you, I mean, I would say suburban communities were just getting into the rap music, as I was getting out of that.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
The subject matter had changed. It was different. It was more like adult, I would say, and confrontational. Like drill rap. It's more in your face, no melodies. No fucking melodies, just straight fucking hammering. You know what I mean? It's like the death metal of hip hop. It's you know what I mean? There's no,
Yes.
That's the kind of That's the kind of rap I like. I don't like the rap that goes nah 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 nah, singing all the bullshit. I don't want to hear that. I want to see somebody get their head ripped off. That's the kind of rap music I like. But I'm old. What do we got? Do we got stuff? I was gonna do stuff. We got 20 fucking minutes. We didn't do nothing.
But that was a heavy topic, though. Like, I don't even think we even answered it still.
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna talk about this.
Okay.
Zach. Yes.
A2IM is an artist company that is a non-profit trade organization that is announcing the launch of a program that is designed for independent artists to have health care options for $99 a year.
Oh shit!
Did you?
Now you're speaking my language.
Dude, come on, that's like all this bad news. I'm like, the robots are gonna have sex with your sister. All type of bad shit's gonna happen. The fucking winds are gonna burn. Locusts are coming.
I mean, truth be told, the only reason I still work a civilian job is because I need health insurance.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now you don't need it.
You
just made you make $100 on DistroKid. We better start writing. You better get them royalties from Arcantica.
Right, gonna have to lawyer up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How did you guys do that? Did you guys decide like who wrote it and who contributed to it? Is that a difficult thing for you guys to figure out, or were you just like, I just want to play some music?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no, I would never be like, well, I wrote this specific line or anything like that, so I'm entitled to...
Well, it doesn't work it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. When you start breaking down who's the writer...
Eric did pretty much the bulk of the writing.
But I'm saying, like, people will think, if they wrote a part of Jay-Z saying, I'm headed to the store to buy a 40 ounce, they think that they're going to get $1 million from that. You very well might have written that, and you were there in the studio when it happened. But that's, you know what I mean? But even if you wrote a cool guitar line for Slash, the chances of you getting paid for that are not going to happen because people don't get paid for music. Right. But I just wanted to ask you because I know that is something that people believe. And when you hear of Kiss not getting along or these big bands not getting along, and people are like, how come Geezer Butler didn't get 10%? I don't think they understand how it works. And that's why I asked you what your contributions were, because you're making music for the love of making music. And that idea is lost too. People think that musicians make music for money. And that is a misunderstanding too.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to ask you that.
No, I was just having fun, but Eric did the bulk of the writing anyway. My contributions was just switch that chord, do this chord progression instead. Yeah. But he still wrote all the lyrics, all the guitar, most of the drums.
Yeah.
Most of the bass.
Yeah, no, ain't nothing wrong with that.
But then I would just come and be like, oh, I don't like what you did, so I'm playing this.
Yeah. You can put your little twist on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just think it would sound better if we switched this around.
Yeah, that's cool. It's good to work with a team like that.
Right. But, and it worked well for us.
I can't wait, man. I want all of the music.
All of it?
All 6 songs.
Well, they're all covers, so we didn't write any of them.
Really? I still want to hear every bit of it.
Oh, it's really good.
What are the songs?
We're doing the first song is an instrumental, Song of Storms from Zelda.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Then we're doing Crawling by Linkin Park.
You do any vocals on that?
Yeah. I do, I sing the verses.
Get the fuck, I'm pumped up, man. I can't wait to hear this shit. I want to hear this now.
Yeah. A little bit longer.
Yeah. I'm excited. That's fucking awesome, man.
Take Me to Church. I'm trying to think of who originally does that song.
This is cool.
Take Me to Church.
So everybody can get health care.
Someone You Love by Louis Capaldi. We do Somebody Told Me by The Killers. And then my favorite one of all. You ready for this?
Yes.
Landslide.
I want all of you to go out and get and stream and play the new Arctic music. Because I'm going to. I need to listen to some. I need more. I'm starting to feel like that. I've been hearing people talk about there's no music. I'm like, I'm going to go fucking find some fucking music.
There's so much music out there.
The market for new music is so oversaturated. I'm pretty sure there's a new song being dropped like right now. Like,
well, there always is. Why don't we spend a little more time finding like new movies or new cartoons or new porn?
Because
take a couple minutes, man, and just fucking try.
Right. The problem right now is that the market is only promoting rehashed crap.
Oh, that's true.
Like, mostly every new movie you hear about coming out, it's like, oh, the remake of Transformers.
And everything
the
is a fucking remix. If there's one more remix that I'm scared to even do it. I'll probably get arrested.
But if you go to, like, film festivals and stuff where they will have new original ideas of, like, smaller, low-budget people that don't have the millions and billions of dollars that the big studios have. You know, if you do just a little bit of homework, you can find new and original movies and stuff like that.
And they're fucking good.
And they are. Original ideas, not just like, oh, we took a movie that was big when, you know, our parents were young, and we just remade it because we liked it because our parents showed it to us.
Right, it's like,
and then we ruined it because...
Romeo and Juliet.
It's like remade like 4 times. Multiple different types of storylines by it. Like, it's nuts. It's fucking nuts. Just as an example.
Are we gonna go into a time when originality is important to us again? Do you think originality?
Well, eventually the crap is gonna get so boring. And
you're gonna have to compete with AI,
right?
Like, as far as crap.
That's the way to compete is with originality.
Because if AI is just a compiled gobbledygook of everything that's been put on the internet.
Yeah.
The only way to compete with it and make yourself known is to not do that. So you would have to be original.
Is to do something on your own, to take a risk.
To do something else.
Yeah.
I think the push for 2023 for music is to literally do that. Something else.
Yeah. I agree.
Consumers are sick of the same stuff. I mean, you hear it here in the rock blogs. Every big artist is saying how every rock song sounds the same. Every death metal song sounds the same. Everything sounds the same. Pop music sounds the same. Hip hop sounds the same. Jazz, I'm pretty sure, sounds the same.
See,
to some degree, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, and that's because you know what? A lot of that is because the same plugins and gear has been popularized. The same, so you know you get the same big producer using the same compressor chains.
Yep.
You know, see, back in the day, the reason why music sounded differently is because people bought a different guitar, and maybe it was the same cab, but they put different speakers in it.
Right.
And those different speakers went with an amp that didn't really go with that cab.
Yeah, different head.
And then and they didn't have the right microphone, so they used the broken one. And the phasing was fucked up on it, so it gave it a cool effect.
Right.
And then the backup singer was late, so Judy sang it from upstairs, but she fucking nailed it. You know what I'm saying? Judith is fucking nice. And then, you know, and that's how the record got created, and that's why the record is special, because not everyone had the same microphone. Not everyone had the same pair of sneakers and the same ring light and the same RGB keyboard and the same cat ears and the same...
It wasn't perfect.
It wasn't perfect.
Right.
It wasn't perfect.
People fucked up, and they embraced that they fucked up, and they went forward by making new music. There was a time when I've looked back on music that I've recorded and I've said, man, you know, I wish I had recorded that over. But it's much easier to look at it that way than to say, you know, why don't I compete with it and try to do something try to do something that's equivalently impactful or valuable, but isn't the same. So when I write now, it's my goal to write music that avoids what we've already done. And when I feel like what we've already done is missing, I spend my time introducing what we've already done to people that haven't heard it yet. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's how you do it.
What do you guys know about Chartmetric? Do you guys use Chartmetric? You see?
Like for.
Well, if you're in,
yeah, is that like a remake of like The Mate?
If you're a nerd like me and you want to, if you want to stress out about your music, if you're in a band right now and you like to stress, type in Chartmetric and you're about to stress. I've had people have been sending me Sepsiss Chartmetrics. I'm like, would you leave me the fuck alone? Just like, people care more about my chart. We're not charting, okay?
In order to chart, you need to.
Yeah, you need to chart some bread.
You need to chart some money.
So, people will hit me with this stuff and they'll say, 2 months ago, you guys were more popular. Fans are looking at this stuff. And the fans are looking at this. Look at Zach's face right now. The fans, you're gonna fucking snap.
Oh no.
Listen, the fans look at this stuff and they geek out on you. Melissa, are you looking at this? Oh, you shouldn't look at this. Not you. This is addicting and awful for people like you.
What is happening?
I would not want to be a front person and discover Chartmetric. Because it breaks down everything you are. It's literally the Black Mirror.
What?
It's the Black Mirror of rock and roll.
What's happening?
It's the Black Mirror for artists. It's a way to go and look at how much you're worth, second by second.
Oh my God.
And there are fucking artists that are looking at this second by second, ready to fucking pull the trigger. Because if you don't have the new song out, if you don't have I'm telling you, there's little girls out there, like these artists, because I study these people, and TikTokers, and they got Chartmetric up. And there's people who are obsessed with Chartmetric. It's like cocaine. And
Why is there an obsession of this?
Because people can see real-time stats of how successful they are in life. You can look up, how good is my single doing? How many followers do I have across like global proportions? You can look at your stats. Like, you can basically look at Sepsiss and watch it crawl. It's like a fucking organism, and you feed it. You know what I'm saying? So once you can see it, you want to. You know what I'm saying? You see it. It's alive. You want to feed it. And you know what I'm saying? And not to mention, there's features and products on this fucking thing that can help you. So as soon as you start seeing those numbers and you're like, oh man, people can hear my music, you start buying into the products. And it's like crack cocaine, because like AI, it's a massive. The music industry is a massive casino. There's not a music industry. It's an industry of product makers that have learned to make customers out of people that play instruments. The music industry is a business that creates its clientele for the people that dream to be a part of it. So there's no real music industry. There's just the idea of the music industry and the products that support it. You can't be a rock star. You can only buy the products to make you look like one. It's a game. It's just a game, bro. It's just a game. This whole thing is a game.
Just take that picture.
Oh, God, that gives me heartburn.
And I'm going to leave it on that note to give y'all something to think about. Anybody that wants more of this information, and I don't share it so much because it can sicken you. to the fucking core. Because it doesn't just exist in music.
It exists.
Mm-hmm.
It exists in banking, exists in agriculture, produce, porn,
cooking.
Yeah. Especially food. Food is one of the most... don't go looking down that hole if you don't want to see what's in there. But any musicians that want to be terrified and learn more about this and can't stand hearing it from me, give me an inbox, man, and I'll send it to you so you can measure it yourself.
And more importantly, if you want a jacket like me, you can pick one of these up at sepsiss.com/shop.
Yellow jackets, baby. Grab it up. The summer drip of the year 2023.
Bam.
Grab them.